Hey guys, it's me. I'm playing in a Discord lobby with a streamer apparently. So I have a little tale to tell, I guess. It was summer. I was visiting the coast for a trip, and my cousin was there, and she went on a car ride with her friend who's like a senior. Somehow I got in there too, and I was like a big ol' baby the whole time, and I insisted on being socially awkward, and I basically just like stayed quiet in the back seat the whole time. I didn't really say anything. The thing is, the person that we were going with, she was like super social and stuff. Like, she would not stop talking, not in like a bad way. She was like super confident and stuff, and like she drove like 10 miles per hour over the speed limit and blasted music and stuff. And like, I'm not even gonna lie, I was down bad, which is like really stupid now. But you know, I was but a child at this time. This was like a year ago, by the way. So anyway, they tell me to pick a song, and I'm like, I don't know what song to pick. And I was like, I don't care. They're like, no, but you have to choose one. And the next thing I know, they're looking through my playlist, one of the most personal belongings you can have. And I'm just like sitting in the back dying as they're going through and just like not knowing any of the songs. But eventually they get to Sweater Weather by the Neighborhood, and they know what that one is, so it all worked out, I guess. After a little bit of time, like after that happened, I realized a couple of things. First of all, the reason they came back was probably because either my parents or theirs was like, hey, you should come pick Aiden up for some reason. And they're like, okay, I guess. Also, like I said, I was super socially awkward the whole time. So all I did was probably just like low-key spoil the vibe. Because it's supposed to be like girls' night, you know? And that brings us to the topic of women. Women are scary, I can't even lie. I told this to a couple of people, and they either agree wholeheartedly or they call me a loser, and there's no in between. And like, I'm just trying to get advice, I can't lie. The problem is I don't really have a hobby besides, you know, video games, YouTube, I guess, if you if you count that, and like music. I like music. I have a vinyl collection. I just don't know how to play any instruments, which I don't know how attractive that is. So like, I'm not gonna tell them that I'm a gamer, at least not like date one, right? If I get to that point, I'm not telling them I'm a freaking gamer on the first date, right? For obvious reasons, I think. But like, I don't know what else I would talk about. She would probably be like, what do you like to do? And I would be like, I like music. And she's like, oh, you play an instrument? I'd be like, no. I have a vinyl collection though. And she would be like, who do you have in your vinyl collection? And I would say Vampire Weekend. And then they probably wouldn't know who the fuck that is, so I'd have to explain. Even like getting to the point where you're talking to a girl is like really hard, especially in school, where like that sticks with you. And there's like group chats and stuff, and it's all scary. A thing I think is interesting is like the people at my school, and I'm guessing that this is a pretty universal thing. Like the more popular guys, right? As the kids say, that's not good. They have such a specific way of like rizzing up the girls, as the kids say. And it like rubs me the wrong way. It gives me the vibes of like Tom Cruise going into the girls' bathroom. Hey, future editing me here. I don't really explain this well at all, I basically mean that whenever they talk to girls, they try to act super, masculine, aloof, testosterone, and like, I don't know, it's just annoying. Like, eh. I don't even know what I find so bad about it is the thing, or like what annoys me so much about it. Maybe because I think the people who are doing it are annoying, but like I don't even really think that. I think they're fine. I think the problem is that like they're pretty specifically like trying to be cool. I could see you not like really being yourself with like your friends or whatever, because you're sort of like a played out version of yourself, right? Really, your primary goal when you're with friends is to make them laugh. So like you're gonna be kind of like exaggerating some feelings or emotions. But like with a girl, trying to be like cool isn't gonna get you anywhere. Or at least it's like, I don't know. It's like, what's the point? I don't know. I just feel like the amount of realness in society has been dwindling by the minute, and it's really sad. Speaking of which, there's one kid in my class, in like my PE, that I'm kind of friendly with. I mean, like, I don't like go to his house or have his number or anything, but we're acquaintances. But like the thing is, it feels like he wants so badly to be Maverick. And it's weird to me, because I've never really met that archetype of person. And it's like, I've never even really, like I don't get it. He didn't used to be that way. He was in my tennis. Oh, Peach is so sad. He was on my tennis team, and like he was just kind of a goober back in like 4 or 5 years ago, and I don't know. I didn't really like him back then, but he was like kind of interesting. But like now he just feels like kind of vanilla Maverick, which is so sad. He got like a little stronger than me. I don't really work out, but he got like a little strong, and now like that's kind of what he's characterized his personality around, which is kind of weird. And that's kind of a thing for, I wouldn't say a lot of guys, but some of them definitely, is like their only sense of humor is being strong / gay, which is, it's all well and good. I'm not jabbing you. That's your sense of humor, but like he doesn't even really have that. He's just kind of the guy to go like, "Hey yo," whenever someone says something gay, and it's like, okay, cool. I was talking earlier about how like I wouldn't tell someone they're gamer, I'm a gamer or whatever, but the problem is, what the hell? A lot of people already know, and it has nothing to do with what I've said or done, and it's all because of my good friend. One day he decided to call me Aiming Gaming, which like because of Ludwig, and I didn't know this at the time when I made it my channel name, so now I'm just kind of like, oh well, I'm losing. I'm just like high-key copying off of him. Oh jeez, dude, I like kind of choked that. I'm not even gonna wait. It was a blessing in disguise. Yeah, he called me that, and he was the only one doing it at first, but then like the people in my gym locker room started doing it, and then they started saying it outside of the locker room, And then everybody started calling me that, which is why it's my YouTube name. And like by everybody, I mean like everybody. Like the tennis tape I was talking about earlier, there's a girl on it who walked up to me one time with her friend, who is also a girl, and was like, "Hello, Amen Gaming," and like I was appalled, truly. And her friend looked at her and then at me like we were fucking wackos. And I was like, "Hi, I hate my friend for giving me this name." His name is James, by the way. And he sucks. I hate him. Ugh. YouTube has been interesting. Because I wanted to do it like more over the summer, which didn't end up happening. I wanted to start like doing it every week, or like uploading a video every week, which I got sick the week I wanted to do that, and it's been like a month since then. So that hasn't happened yet, and like I don't really know anymore. YouTube is hard. Editing takes so long, but like the thing is, it's also kind of addicting, because like when I get a good project out, it's so nice, but it takes so much time, dude. People on r/new YouTubers or whatever will be like, "I can't wait to hire an editor," but like I think editing is fun. At least getting the finished product from like grinding it out for a while is fun. But the problem is sometimes I'll like make a video and I'll be like, okay, I have to edit this and see it through, and then halfway through I realize that the video just has no sauce. And like I know it's like a whole thing that's like, just see every video to the end, because you never know what'll be successful. But like the video I was working on was bad. It was inconsistent. That's not even what I was supposed to do. Why did I do that? It was like inconsistent. It was weird. There wasn't really like a consistent theme of it. For the first half I was just reacting to what was going on. For the second half I was telling stories and stuff. I didn't really go into the recording with a plan. So I ended up doing most of the editing work, only to be like, this fucking sucks, and then I stopped. Which kind of was like, you know, demoralizing. But I do think it taught me a lesson that like, it's okay to give up. Which sounds bad, and probably is, honestly, but like I do think that that bullet bill went on for like 7 years. How did that happen? I do think that it's important to like just know when something isn't gonna work, like for sure. If it's like kind of a 50-50, I still think it's worth it to just go for it. But yeah, like I said, YouTube is fun. YouTube is like kind of a dream job. If only because like I feel like it's the most freedom a job can give. In terms of like scheduling, I guess, and like what I do. At least that I can think of. Obviously, it's not like absolute freedom, but you know, it's something. It's better than most jobs out there. And like, I don't know, I would like to just be able to express something and express my creativity in something that's entirely my own for a job. I think that would be fun, but you know, if it doesn't work out, it'll be fine. If you don't want to see my hopes and aspirations be crumbled to dust, you should like and subscribe. If you don't, I'll be really sad forever and ever. But I mean, I don't know, I'm not your dad, man. California girls. Oh yeah, I recently listened to Lupe Fiasco's The Cool, and okay, there's a couple of things to talk about. First of all, Sabrina Carpenter. I really like Short and Sweet. It's like unironically one of my favorite albums. And I think her new one is kind of mid, which made me sad when I listened to it. Not that it's like egregious, I just don't think it's really that good in any like particular way. It feels like it tries to match Short and Sweet, but like just really doesn't. Really, the only song I really liked was the first one, the single that came out like 2 months before the album did, which kind of sucked. The last song was actually just ABBA, which I thought was funny. Like, that is an ABBA song. I'm trying to think of other songs that I thought were good in it, but like honestly I can't really think of too many. And this is like compared to Short and Sweet, where I like pretty much every song on there, and like Emails I Can't Send, which again I like pretty much every song on there. It's just like, man, it sucked. But another album that did come out on that day is Portal by Balu Brigada, and I actually really like this album. The first like 3 songs, well, the second through the 4th song technically, are kind of generic indie stuff, you know how it is. But after that it gets like pretty good, I think. I think Backseat, one of the singles that came out before the album, is really good. I think Politics is excellent. And like you can tell that they kind of listen to Tame Impala because, or at least Currents from that song, because of like the guitar. The Question like might actually be my favorite song on the album. Like that run of 3 songs is really good. And then I think 425 and the one after that, I forget the name, are kind of mid. I just don't really fuck with them personally. And then there's the last 2, What Do We Ever Really Know and Butterfly Boy. And I like these 2. I like Butterfly Boy more. A lot actually, like as pretty much as much as the stretch of 3 I talked about earlier. I don't know if this works. It doesn't. And recently I just listened to The Cool by Lupe Fiasco, and I really liked it. The first half at least. I think after Little Weapon it's kinda whatever. I don't think it's bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not my favorite thing after Little Weapon. But before that it's excellent. I think The Coolest and like, what the hell, why didn't I latch on? I think The Coolest and Streets on Fire are 2 of the best songs ever, maybe? Like Streets on Fire, like they're some of the first times I can really remember being like super impressed with lyrical writing. Oh! All skill. Yeah, as I was saying, The Coolest and Streets on Fire are some of the first times I've been like super impressed with like lyrical songwriting. And like I have been impressed before. I'm saying this like I'm a critic. This is just because I don't care that much about lyrics. But like I have been impressed before, like by Wall in To Pimp a Butterfly and Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly. I was impressed with If These Walls Could Talk and like How Much a Dollar Cost. Those 2 were some of my favorites from the album. but like nothing quite like nothing. Okay, that's awesome. Nothing quite like The Coolest or Streets on Fire, because like those songs, like it has such meaning to them while also having like this incredible flow. Like it's crazy. I don't know how he does it. Yeah, those are my favorite two songs. I don't know if you could tell. Those are some of the albums I've listened to recently that I felt particularly passionate about. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments and I'll tell you if your opinion is whack or based. Dude, music is so cool. I just got into it like kind of recently too. It started with the Postal Service, which yeah, I was emo back in like the 9th grade. Or the 8th grade actually now. God damn. Yeah, I was emo back in the 8th grade, I guess. A little bit, at least, you know. I think we were all a little bit emo back in the 8th grade. Back in the 3rd grade, right? Y'all are with me? Back in the 3rd grade, we were all like painting our fingernails black and listening to fucking death metal, right? Right? Oh yeah, also Mad Villainy by MF Doom. I listened to that recently and oh my god. I was actually kind of hesitant at first because like, why did I choose Airship Fortress? One of the things I like most about Food, which I listened to it before that, was the production. And it had like a specific flair to it that I thought would kind of be lost since someone else entirely was producing the album. But like, who could have guessed that the production person would be really careful about who he chooses to produce an album in a group that he's in? Who could have guessed? But anyway, yeah, the production is really good. I don't know about better than Food, but like overall, I think it's better. Some of the songs in particular I like are Accordion. I like Bistro. It's kind of a weird pick, but I don't know. I like America's Most Blunted. Yeah, I don't know. There isn't like one specific song I like about it, which is interesting. That's not even true. I like Fancy Clown, that's the one. I also like Rainbows. Just the whole vibe of it is so like encapsulating, and I like it a lot. I don't know. Oh, an intermission. Yay. If you're wondering why I haven't made a video on this game for a while, even though they're usually the most successful, or they're usually pretty successful, it's because I didn't really like it at first, and I thought it was kind of lame. It was mostly a skill issue problem on my part. It doesn't really have to do with like intermissions or anything, even though that is a problem. I'm just saying like that's not why I wasn't really playing it. It's because I felt like the game was more focused on like shortcuts and stuff rather than like more general tech that you could apply, which I didn't really like, but like, what can you do? But yeah, I've grown to like it a lot. It's still, I think I still like 8 Deluxe more, just because of the reasons I said earlier. We're going Great Question Mark Lurians. Is that like something we agreed to? What did y'all think about the most recent Nintendo Direct, guys? I just thought about it. I'm gonna be honest. My excitement about the new generation has gone down like quite a lot after the most recent Direct. And like, it was probably good for some people, right? But like, $20 DLC for what's basically an area that like was free in Mario Odyssey, and a game mode that was free in Mario Odyssey, which was but 8 years ago. And not only that, it's $20, which could have gotten you twice the amount of game in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But now it's just one map and some shitty game mode that nobody cares about. Like, what are they doing? For what purpose? And also, like, the whole, like, everything, it's just so stupid. And, like, I was fine with Mario Kart being $80, honestly. I didn't really care, because Mario Kart's just worth $80 to me. I don't know what to tell you. 8 Deluxe is one of my favorite games of all time. But, like, I don't know, man. After seeing everything else, like, I thought it was gonna be just a one-time thing, but clearly it wasn't. And now I'm almost kind of wishing that we boycotted Nintendo when we had the chance. Just saying. I don't really know how to end these off. I'll probably just... Honestly, this is a good way to end it. Yeah, I'll just do this, and then I'll probably go. Alright, well... that was the video. Let me know if you liked it, I guess, by hitting that like button. Also, I have a Twitch channel. I might stream on it, I don't know, but follow it maybe, perhaps.